Chapter 4, Nemirah Prime, War on the Broken Sky. Inside the core memory nexus, Raptor fights the ghostly white-plumed version of himself in a high-speed aerial dogfight through the thunderous, darkened-colored sky of the city. Raptor, mid-flight, shouts to the other version of himself and says, "Be careful," he says as his eyes glow bright. "You know I know your every move." The Raptor variant squawks. Caracol and his mirror image variant engage in a brutal hand-to-hand duel. As they circle each other, he stares down the variant of himself and says, "What do you want?" The variant of Caracol bares his claws and says, "Everything you've got and more." With blinding fury, they attack each other, claws slashing and fur flying, where it's precision versus unrestrained fury. Amphibio faces a version of himself that's cold-blooded, silent, and strikes without warning. "Wow, so no sense of humor?" Amphibio half jokes as he faces off with a scary version of himself.
"Ribbit,"
the variant goes in a deep vocalization. I guess that's a yes," he says as he launches into a battle of agility and strength. Dragonfly and her mirror twin rain fire and venom on each other, lighting the vault like a battlefield sunrise. "I'll always beat you because I know my weaknesses," yells Dragonfly as she blows fireballs at her variant. "Except you don't, sister, for I am not you. I'm better. Hiss!" goes the aggressive evil twin of Dragonfly. Silverback is overwhelmed. His mirror self seems stronger, more confident, without restraint.
"I fought you over and always won,"
Silverback says. His gorilla-mirrored variant shouts as he clangs his sword against Silverback's.
"And that's why you must be defeated today, so your golden armor will be mine."
As the battle ensues, and the Coilborn phase into attack with feral force, the environment glitches, as every punch thrown becomes memories and sounds become images. Amphibio leaps over his skeletal mimic of himself, but also right through a floating childhood memory of himself in a test tube, startling him. Raptor dodges a blow that turns into a screeching clip of his first flight. Dragonfly is hit and tumbles through a looping echo of her own birth, supersonic scream. As the one gorilla Coilborn closes in, Silverback barrels into it with raw fury, but when it touches him, he sees a dying gorilla hybrid whispering,
"Brother,"
in agony. Mysterion summons a force field to stabilize Nemirah's mind, but he begins to glitch too. The chamber quakes, and a memory flood erupts. Dozens of projections from their shared past overlapping, rewinding, revealing as an epic chamber-wide melee ensues. Seeing feral force battling themselves yet barely prevailing in the fight, Mysterion steps forward. Mysterion says,
"This isn't their fight. It's mine."
The memory storm collapses as Mysterion, trying to use his force fields to protect Nemirah, collapses to one knee under the immense pressure. Nemirah screams with 1,000 voices all over the veiled city, "Simon, you must stop Wolf Spider before it's too late." Mysterion utters,
"I know. She was my sister. She sent these variants, I know it. And I know she's still alive."
Caracol shouts out, "Let her show her face. We'll take her on."
"No, my children," says Mysterion. "She's too strong, and you're not ready to battle her just yet. This is my battle," he says weakly. Many, many miles away. The tundra of Siberia, miles from the veiled city, beneath layers of crimson silk and obsidian stone, the very walls pulse with dark energy. The walls shimmer with ancient glyphs, scripts older than any language still spoken. At the heart of the chamber lies a sarcophagus carved from violet volcanic glass, bound in shimmering roots of black iron. It is here that Wolf Spider, seated on a throne of fused bone and meteorite, begins the ancient arachnid hybrid ritual. With her hand dipped in luminescent green venom, she traces an ancient sigil across her chest. As she chants in tongues only spiders remember. The temperature drops as she then steps down from the throne, approaches the sarcophagus, and touches its surface. As Wolf Spider chants,
A shockwave of violet flame erupts from the sarcophagus, blowing her back and forcing Wolf Spider to brace herself. All of a sudden, a clawed hand of molten obsidian tears through the lid. Then another. The sarcophagus cracks open, releasing a cloud of black mist that screams like 1,000 voices. Emerging from the mist is Behemoth, draped now in ancient ceremonial armor forged from forgotten alien tech and animal bones with a long emerald-green velvet cape. His eyes burn wide, his voice echoes with layered tones.
Who dares summon me in this circle of rot?
He says. Wolf Spider kneels.
Your true mother,
she says.
The world is poisoned, and we must burn the venom from its veins.
Behemoth's head turns sharply. He smells something.
He lives. It's Mysterion.
He grunts.
I smell his shape in the wind.
Suddenly, he raises his arms, and the entire veiled city rumbles. As the shockwaves run throughout the city, the coil-born, feral force variants, suddenly flee mid-fight, retreating as if something told them to run. Raptor gasps, suddenly clutching his head.
Something just screamed across the ley lines,
he says. Caracol's eyes narrow and says,
We're not the only ones waking up old secrets.
Dimensional rifts crackle between Siberia and Hiroshima. All of a sudden, a command is given. Your turn has come, my warrior. All of a sudden, the sky darkens, and ground begins to quake. Suddenly, the wind splits, and the massive adversary known as Behemoth dives into the terra firma of the Earth and, using digging technology, burrows to Hiroshima from Siberia with astonishing speed and velocity and might. A huge rumble and explosion take place right in the veiled city as he makes his catastrophic appearance. Up from the ground emerges a giant, now 50-foot revamped version of Behemoth, now with metallic body parts.
Missed me,
bellows Behemoth.
This time I'm going to destroy you for what happened all those years ago.
He stomps and the entire city and buildings start cracking and crumbling in places. Caracol snarls and says,
Feral Force, pan out!
Dragonfly then leaps into the air, taking flight, blazing iridescent flame trails scorching Behemoth's chest. He swats at her and misses a few times. But in one fell swipe, he catches her, sending her flying into a pillar, and she collapses. Raptor screeching in rage, Dragonfly! He immediately takes to the sky in nanoseconds, and immediately dives with talons out, screeching, spinning mid-air, flinging razor feather volleys that pummel the giant.
Cut that out before I clip your wings for you! Good birdie!
Groans Behemoth. Amphibio backflips all the way over to where Behemoth is, and jumps and lands hard against his bloated belly, stunning Behemoth for a few moments.
You hit hard for a froggy pipsqueak, but promise, I hit harder.
He then takes his now metal mace and swats Amphibio away into the rubble where he lay in a heap. Silverback, enraged seeing two of his comrades go down, roars with unbridled anger.
For Mysterion!
He shouts, as he crashes down with his golden sword, cleaving Behemoth's big toe in two.
Ah!
Yells Behemoth.
For crying out loud! Why'd you do that?
He then kicks the armored gorilla across the city courtyard, but Silverback manages to catch his balance. Caracol runs at breakneck pace and jumps in the air just as Raptor catches him in the air and swings him right for Behemoth's face. His claws glowing with light scrapes 8 long marks across the face of the terrifying giant and all the way down his neck and back, jumping off just before Behemoth can swing at him.
Urgh!
Screams the giant beast.
You scratched my back. Now I scratch yours.
He then picks up his foot and tries to stomp on Caracol, but Raptor flies in and grabs him just in the nick of time.
You can't defeat me, you imbeciles. You're out of time,
he taunts.
You've wasted enough of my time. I'm here to crush this city piece by piece.
Raptor's eyes glow as he turns to look at Dr. Mysterion, still using all of his might to hold the city together and keep the whole of Nirvana Palace from coming down on top of them. He's right, Doc. We're only holding him up like this. Most of the team is down. We can't stop him like this, says Raptor mournfully.
I know, my son, I know, says Mysterion. But I can.
Suddenly, Mysterion grows into a giant 40-foot-tall white crane. He soars at impossible speed above Behemoth into the sky of the city. His wings stretch wide, glowing with golden flames. As he opens his wings in the sky, the flames shoot Behemoth in his core, knocking the giant beast to the ground as he writhes in agony from the burns. He lands in front of the team members, still collecting themselves, and in front of Behemoth, his eyes fierce.
We are not out of time. We must get to the totem of beasts at the center of the city before he reaches it, my children.
All of a sudden, Behemoth reaches his feet and grabs the giant crane by the neck, choking him.
I told you once, and I'll tell you again. You cannot stop me from rewriting history,
Behemoth says. Oh no, he's got Dr. Mysterion, says Amphibio. What do we do? Amazingly, a gold light encircles the crane's lithe frame, and what was once white feathers turns into white hair with black furry patches, and what was once a beak morphs into all teeth. Dr. Mysterion is changing from a regal Asian crane into a giant, burly panda. To everyone's surprise, especially Behemoth. Everyone knows pandas eat bamboo for breakfast, and with that same bite force times 10,000, Mysterion, now the great panda, bites down on Behemoth's hands.
Yowie!
Yelps Behemoth in pain. He can't even make another move before the panda swats him down, sending Behemoth tumbling in the rubble. Caracol shouts up to Mysterion.
Doc, why didn't you tell us you were a panda bear?
He says.
Not a panda bear, Mysterion says. Just a panda. Now, my children, get to the... Ah!
Mysterion screams as a huge 20-foot spider with a scorpion's tail appears out of thin air and stings him in the back. Wolf spider, says Raptor as his eyes light up. Doc, screams Dragonfly as tears run from her eyes. The arch-nemesis known as Wolf Spider shrinks down to human size and crawls and scuttles on insect feet under her black and red kimono toward Feral Force to do them in next. Mysterion immediately turns back into his human form and encircles himself in a gold bubble of psionic, telekinetic energy.
Go, Feral Force! Go to the totem! Protect the core with your life, he says.
Behemoth, take him out! He must get out of my way!
Behemoth gets to his feet and reaches towards Mysterion in the bubble and tries to crush it with his hands, but can't. Amphibio jump kicks toward Wolf Spider, but she blocks it, and, with a move of her hands, using ancient martial arts, uses the still winds and then pushes it towards him, sending him flying backwards. Then Caracol and Silverback move toward her with Caracol jumping over Silverback's head and landing on her back to try and subdue her. But she grabs his hands, shifts her weight, and throws him a few yards.
I'm not playing with you, monkey. Move out of my way,
she growls. Silverback gets enraged and says,
I am one of the many great apes, and I'll teach you the difference, lady!
He roars as he beats his chest. She walks up, and before he can swing his sword, she darts out of the way, into invisibility, and kicks him in a place no one should be kicked.
How's that for a lesson?
She grins as she makes her way toward Dragonfly, who is half running, half flying through her injuries. But Raptor steps up and says, You touch her, and every tendril you have will be cut from your core.
Oh, so you're the teacher's pet, Quite literally, huh?
She sneers.
Well, let's see if you've got what it takes.
And before he can throw a darted feather, a big black stinger hits him in the chest, and he tumbles to the floor, cold. Ah! Goes Dragonfly, as she screams a blood-curdling scream.
Dragonfly, get to Nemirah's core at the totem. The real Mirror Caster is there. I trust you. Listen to your inner voice,
shouts Mysterion. As Dragonfly runs, now literally for her life, she sees her teammates out on the ground. Dr. Mysterion using the last of his life force to sustain a veiled city where simultaneously trying not to be crushed by Behemoth as he turns looking up at the totem figures. Then she spots it. the core at the center of the beast totem, the heart of Nemirah.
Well, looky here,
says Wolf Spider as she appears from invisibility in front of the totem. Get out of my way or I'll burn your ugly hide, witch, says Dragonfly.
I pulled your worst enemy, and your alter ego's the worst part of yourself from this mirror caster, which is where I'm going to throw you forever,
says Wolf Spider. You're such a liar. This isn't the same mirror and you know it. You're trying to keep me from it, Dragonfly says.
Nothing that's stepped out or in that mirror never lives long,
says Wolf Spider. Does Behemoth know that? Asks Dragonfly.
What you peasants don't know won't hurt you, girl,
she screams as she spits green venom at her. It burns Dragonfly's skin.
Say you'll be my maidservant, and all this goes away. You, your precious friends, even my pathetic brother will live,
whispers Wolf Spider.
Never,
says Dragonfly as she tries to grab the mirror caster from Wolf Spider. But as she reaches for it, Wolf Spider tricks her and pulls her inside the mirror. As she disappears inside the mirror, Wolf Spider laughs as Mysterion passes out from exhaustion and Behemoth grips him in his clutches. The other team members look on in disbelief as thunder and lightning rip through the veiled city. Glass-breaking sounds ring through the city as every structure starts to crumble around them. Wolf Spider strides up and says,
I've won!
With his last iota of strength, Mysterion says,
Oh, my dear dumb sister, did you ever think that nothing has ever gone into the mirror caster?
What are you talking about, you old fool?
Wolf Spider says.
Look at the beast totem and tell me what you see, he says.
She gazes up at the statues, and then it hits her. All the statues are there, but the one resembling a dragonfly hovers above them all.
No, it can't be,
she shrieks. Immediately, out of the mirror comes Dragonfly, only it's not her. She has metamorphosed. As she emerges, the mirror implodes, a silence falls. Then, a breeze, warm and changed, flows through the ruined city. Yet now, as Dragonfly emerges anew, the city begins to rebuild itself in a reverse of the way it crumbled. The team stares in awe. Even the warped portal hums quieter in her presence. She's taller now. Her wings shimmer in shifting layers of fire and crystal. Her eyes glow with cosmic intelligence. Her voice rings with power. Call me Phoenix Fly, she says.
Is that Dragonfly?
Asks a shocked Caracol. No, my brother. That is the entity of legend. The Ho-Oh, the peacock phoenix-like legend. Only it has found a host inside Dragonfly, says Raptor, solemnly, while his eyes glow. Her hair is now floating braided coils of molten gold and lavender, glowing faintly as if they're alive, while she wears a minimalist crown of flame that flickers up and down with her emotions and words, symbolizing rebirth and wisdom. And her eyes? They shine like twin galaxies, now displaying fractal patterns. Her wingspan has now doubled in size, 12 to 14 feet fully extended, and they're not just made of membrane, but now almost entirely composed of crystalline firelight as they flicker with shifting hues of the richest sunset orange, solar gold, aurora pink, and deep violet. Now they trail resonant notes, like ambient music when she makes a movement or flies. My dear feral force, she says in an echoed tone. I saw everything, in the mirror, and beyond, she says, as she floats there in full radiance as the city rebuilds to its golden original state. She turns to Wolf Spider and Behemoth as their mouths hang agape. Wayward ones, your reign of terror is no more. She then claps her wings as streams of angelic golden pink and violet orange fire cascade over the coil-born hidden in the city, Behemoth, and Wolf Spider as they disintegrate into black dust. Amphibio yells, Oh my goodness, Dragonfly! It's so good to see you, love, but what did you do to them? Mysterion answers,
She sent them to live where they were in their heads. They are now forever caught up in their own image. And, daughter, you sacrificed yourself for all of us, says Mysterion.
Yes, but it was less like sacrifice and more like evolution of myself, she says in a proud voice. The city glistens now like never before. Doc, we won this war, Phoenix Fly says.
Yes, but we have only scratched the surface of who and what you will become,
says Mysterion in a regal voice. Amphibio says, we need a cheer, family. Silverback raises his sword and shouts,
Feral Force forever!
As they all gather together, one by one, Nemirah speaks out. I was in pain, but Simon, you saved me, and saved the world from disappearing forever. Mysterion nods and smiles.
You are welcome, my friend.
And then he lifts his arms. As his white robes flow with quiet power, a golden light force field envelops the team. The feral force, now fully healed, floats gently back up through a shaft of light, ascending to the pristine halls of Nirvana Palace. The glowing glyphs of the Mutari now shine in the ancient veiled city below, bathed in ethereal light as it once did before. The totems ever watching, as above them the atmosphere shifts, as if recognizing their return. Dr. Mysterion's voice can be heard saying,
And so, together we returned to the world above, changed, chosen, remembered, knowing that the next chapter has only just begun.